Welcome to the Elusive Truth with Rich and Larry. Did you catch the Super Bowl? My goodness, I haven't watched a Super Bowl in years. Wanted to check out the commercials, which, by the way, I think they're pretty lame. Hate to say it. A lot of old stars in these things, but nothing crazy. I just wanted to say I was very happy to see that the Egles, or Egles as I like to call them, they beat Mahomes and Kelsey and the Chiefs. Wow. Now, I'm sure the Chiefs and Mahomes is going to be a big factor for the next 10 years or so in the NFL. But anyway, it was nice to see the underdog win because everything I've seen up to this point, the Egles were not going to win. They were always going to be 10 points below, just not being able to defeat the Chiefs. And thank goodness, 2025, what a year. We are moving forward. Anyway, we're going to start this off with a couple shorts. And the first one is going to be with Doc Rich. What goes around comes around. Kind of interesting. Have a listen.
Now, this woman right here has a great message for Elizabeth Warren and all the Democrat politicians. And quite frankly, I agree with it.
So under the last administration, they wanted to hire 80,000 IRS employees to look into our spending. You know, the pennies for Truth Fairy, the money we give our grandkids and slide under the table, you know, the mismanagement of $500 or more. But yet we have Elizabeth Warren on the streets crying that we didn't vote for Elon Musk. The Democrats didn't vote for Elon. The Republicans didn't vote for Elon. The vegetarians didn't vote for Elon. We didn't vote for this. Milady doth protest a little bit too much. So now that we're looking into your spending, now we have a problem. I'm going to share this. I'm going to be really honest, though. I didn't vote for George Soros, but yet his ass was in our business everywhere. Everywhere. George Soros. So, Democrats, please be careful, because what comes around goes around. Go Doge.
I'm really not amazed, but I am amazed at these damn Democrats who barked the loudest about this, looking into the spending habits of different or various departments in the government, going ape and nuts that Elon Musk is taking money and all this crazy stuff. I'm telling you, people, wow, they're really trying, but I'm sure, and I'm seeing that majority of Americans understand what's going on, and we're just waiting for the outcome from all these audits, and it's not looking good for the Democrats. Let's get back on track here. Black conservative 2429. Millionaire Robert Kiyosaki is not a big fan of Joe Biden. Wonder why. Have a listen.
You can't make this up.
Biden, most stupid president we've ever had. Biden has done more damage to the world than any other president in history. So what was Biden's first act? Do you know?
No, can you please explain that?
He took off the Keystone Pipeline between Canada and America. Under Trump, he's a good friend of mine. We were selling oil. We own oil wells in Texas, Louisiana, and North Dakota.
Okay.
I was selling oil in Trump for $30 US a barrel. Biden came to office, oil went from $30 a barrel to $130 a barrel. I knew immediately what that communist was doing. He was making oil so expensive, it would wipe out the middle class. Unfortunately, Biden screwed America. He made the poor middle class poor. Americans can't afford to put gas in the car. They can't put food. Oil runs everything. Biden then says, well, it's Putin's fault.
Okay.
What? And Americans are so stupid, they believe them.
I think it's unfortunate that the American people had to endure the last 4 years under the Biden administration, and more information will be coming out of what he exactly did or did not do. The world of enlightenment, 2025. So, moving forward, thinking what? The hypocrites are exposed. Have a listen.
After watching this, you'll understand why most Americans support mass deportations.
The federal government spent over $66 billion on illegal immigrants in 2023. Does anyone here want to guess how much we've spent on homeless veterans in 23? 66 on illegals, $3 billion on people who have laid down their lives for this country. Let's look at what we fund. $5.8 billion in SNAP, $10 billion in Medicare, $8.2 billion in uncompensated hospital expenditures, $3 billion for primary and secondary education. And how many illegal immigrants are given taxpayer-funded housing compared to the number of homeless veterans? You don't know because you don't want to know. You don't want to see the numbers. Well, the American people care about our veterans a little bit more than we care about people who have broken the law to get here illegally.
Doesn't it amaze you that literally 6 months ago we would not heard anything like this? People are speaking up, and the right is finally having a voice in all this mess. Anyway, what do you think? It's crazy. The immigration, migration. This is from Greg Teaches English. Back to work. Caroline Levitt says federal workers have two choices. Again, the stuff coming out, it's on fire. Have a listen.
As Caroline Levitt points out, millions of federal employees haven't shown up to work in years. And here's the solution.
And we want to start with the administration's offer to buy with a mass buyout to federal employees out there. How many do you hope will take it? And by what percentage does the president want to downsize the federal workforce?
This is another promise made and kept by President Trump. He told the American people on the campaign trail that he was going to make our federal government more efficient and productive. 6% of the federal workforce here in Washington, D.C. actually shows up to the office. That is completely unacceptable. Middle-class Americans, our teachers, our nurses, our law enforcement officers who keep this economy working show up to the office every single day, and President Trump expects that federal employees do the same. So his order, as presented in that memo last night, directs federal agencies to come up with a return-to-work policy for their agencies. And if federal bureaucrats in this city don't like that, well, guess what? They can resign from their positions, and this administration is offering them 8 months of pay. They will be paid through September just to simply resign from their positions. If 5 to 10% of the federal workforce resigns, it will save taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. And so, look, we want people to return to work. We have beautiful federal office buildings here in Washington, D.C. that American taxpayers are paying for. They should be used. That's what the American people deserve.
So right off the bat, two things. First of all, federal workers not returning to work and just staying home and doing whatever and getting paid big money. Unbelievable. Try that in your job, see what happens. I know what will happen. You won't have a job, and we get to stay home, but we're not making any money. Oh, my goodness. And secondly, Caroline Levitt. Awesome. Press secretary. My goodness. What a firecracker. Gotta love her. Anyway. Wow. I'm telling you, too much is going on. That's why I had to do another quick podcast. It's just stuff is happening left and right and super fast, and it's hard to keep up with everything. So with that, we go to Rogan Shorts. Rogan reacts to Doge. Elon Musk. I'm telling you, gotta have a open mind for all this.
What's fascinating right now is we're getting a chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government in the White House.
Staff reductions, the cuts that Elon Musk and Doge are doing are an unlawful power grab. Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. And they'll see immediately as somebody gets tongue-tied that they're either crooked or don't know what they're doing.
We're seeing right now with this whole U.S. aid thing where they're uncovering massive amounts of corruption and waste and just a lot of weird, shady shit with NGOs, and an enormous amount of money is going.
I've instructed him go into education, go into military, go into other things as we go along. And they're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste. You know, we're a government. We have to be open.
You're seeing someone look at this thing that is incredibly efficient, almost by design, instead of saying, well, this is just how it is. A president who's coming in who can't get reelected, so he's just going ham, and he's just cleaning out everything.
I just don't understand how they don't realize that every president, at least since Reagan, that's what they did. They cut out the fat. They streamlined the government, saved money, lowered taxes. But when Trump does it, oh, he's got that filthy billionaire Elon Musk helping him out, and them little kids. Oh, my God, the little kids with big balls. Wow. I can't believe the stuff that's coming out. Big balls. Kids, 19, 26-year-olds, they don't know nothing, or they can find fraud in a heartbeat. So, for example, my next clip, Megyn Kelly, the freak out over Elon Musk's Doge engineers and big balls. Have a listen.
I'm just going to give folks a feel for what's happening in reaction to Elon's, I don't know, like 6 gunslingers who are going into USAID and going into Treasury, although those are 2 like actual special employees at Treasury. Anyway, it's Elon's team trying to figure out where we can find these efficiencies, and total meltdown on the left and the media. But I repeat myself. Here's a sampling.
I apologize to the Saints out there, and we know a lot of the Saints listen to the show. He called himself Big B-A-L-L-S. So Big B-A-L-L-S has all of our Social Security data, and maybe downloaded it, maybe didn't share it, maybe
This is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him, is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.sexy LLC.
As young as 19, the big balls here.
Wired has done an astonishing job here. You know, I could make a joke that's probably why he was hired for all this ridiculous nonsense.
Kara Swisher there at the end.
One of my faves.
Yo, right?
One of my muses, I think. I mean, she's just like perfectly emblematic of the buffoonish media, I think.
Thank you.
Also, here she is talking about Elon Musk. I love how every single one of these clips opens up whenever she's sort of on a CNN or whatever it is to talk about Elon Musk. And she's brought on as this Elon Musk expert. She has not talked to Elon Musk in years. I think there was an interview she did with him like 4+ years ago.
Yes, that's what it said there. The Chiron has interviewed Elon Musk.
I agree with her on one point, though. She said Wired had done an amazing job, I think was what she had said, something like that. I agree it's an amazing job. I just don't think it's an amazing job for them and the way that they want. The Wired Wired
is the one that outed the names
they broke
of
the story.
staffers.
Yeah, so they all 6 of them or something, and then they've been teasing out like new stories every day. There's a new story. The Big Balls one is, I mean, the headline was crazy. It was like teen entrepreneur builds Sexa, or what was it? It's Tesla.sexy LLC, and hires convicted hackers, which says to me, like, so they're not actually in prison. He's a criminal justice reform kind of kid.
By the way,
he's got a heart of gold.
That's what a lot of people hire the black hat hackers and the white hat
after
hackers.
The way, yeah.
Right, in tech. My husband used to run a security firm for online, properties, and they loved hiring the black hat hackers because they knew what they were doing.
Yes. And it was like every beat, though, in that line. It's like he's a multiple entrepreneur. He's a teen genius. He then goes by the name Big Balls. Okay.
Well,
so like, it is what it is. He's 19 and he's like a genius and he's working in the government. Do you want like really brilliant 19-year-olds or do you want a really sort of old, dumb person?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I do know what they want, but it's not what I want. So I stand with Big Balls and
solidarity.
I'm fighting for Big Balls. I'm rooting for Big Balls. I hope he doesn't make me regret it, but if he does, I'll probably forgive him. I'll forgive Big Balls.
They're making it sound like Elon is in there with his team of 6 gunslingers, looking up our social security numbers so he can open up a credit card in our name, right? Like there's some nefarious purpose. He has competitors. He could be spying on their data. It's like, meanwhile, what Elon has wanted to do, he's made very clear what he wants to do, which is find efficiencies in each of these agencies, and they're overstating the extent of his access. So like, for example, they wanted us to believe that these hackers had access to change code or change data at Treasury. But Scott Bessent came out here and said that is not true. Here he is in part in SOT 33 in an interview with Bloomberg.
First of all, when you say the Doge team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. The ability to change the system sits over at the Federal Reserve. So it doesn't even lie in this building. So they could make suggestions on how to change the system, but we don't even run the system.
Okay. So who are we to believe? Wired, that they're having access and they can actually change code, or Scott Bessent, who says they can only read it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Wired is just, and all the media, they're going to say whatever they have to say to make this seem more terrifying than it is. Because if you just break it down into its basics, you have the duly elected president of the United States has hired a person to do a job that the American people knew about before he was hired, and now he's doing it, and we're glad. And there's just like not a lot of ways you can make that sound scary. So, I mean, it's like, again, it's like, I know what I think. I know what they're going to think. I think they're kind of going to stay in their little corner and keep making stories or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I want to see these people. I want to see the bureaucratic state slimmed.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying this.
I know. And who would you hire to actually go through code and go through efficiently? Young, energetic men who understand how to code. Elon sent some tweet out the other day saying it's so great how my opponents, all these bureaucrats, take the weekends off.
Right.
He's like, it's like playing an opponent who leaves the field for 2 days. They don't know what they're dealing with, right? The man is tireless. He moved a cot into one of these government buildings and they're all sleeping there.
I mean, I think they do know what they're dealing with, which would account for how much they focused on Elon from the moment that he started working with Trump. It was, I think, really scary to them. I think they do know that he's a very powerful person. He is relentless. He just will work and work and work. And also he just did this. He just ran this game back over at Twitter. And we saw the exact same reaction from the media then. Also hiding behind the lie that it was going to collapse. It was like, oh, imminent. Twitter will shut down. It will just sort of like burn to the ground. And of course, they never really believed that. What they were most afraid of was not Twitter collapsing, but Twitter surviving under new leadership that didn't censor. And I think that's what you're seeing now in the government. It's a fear.
Here is a walk down that memory lane, media and Dems. But again, same thing on Elon's Twitter experiment when he found efficiencies there.
Musk has turned X, formerly known as Twitter, into a cesspool of hate speech and extremist incitement.
It's better engagement on threads.
Instagram is a really terrific product, and Twitter is awful. I know sodomy when I see it.
Because Elon Musk is, he's the worst.
Please off.
Is that why he's often compared to a Bond villain?
The guy's a joke, right? He really is a joke.
Now, Musk is just one of the dangerously weird and extreme cranks.
Astonished at how dumb Elon Musk is.
And he is as crazy as he seems on Twitter.
This dude tripped over his and became successful.
I mean, again, it's like they're just terrified. Twitter was crazy because, I mean, I wrote about that a lot at the time. Everybody understood that Twitter was controlling the discourse in the country. All of the journalists lived there. The censorship was the politics were completely constricted around this one narrow opinion. They were also amplifying content on the sort of Twitter. What was it back then? It was the trending topics. So you had both censorship and propaganda pushing a narrative. And everybody kind of understood immediately that once Elon took over, that was going to be gutted and we would actually have something like free speech. Now, there are bad things about that, or not bad things about that, but there are nasty things that happen in an environment of freedom, but also the truth. And that was terrifying to people like, the MSNBC talking heads.
Yesterday, we ran a soundbite from Harry Enton on CNN showing how the numbers jacked up in support of a ban on boys participating in girls' sports just in the past couple of years. It was like 63% and now it's 79% just in the past couple of years. And I attribute that to Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter because he completely took off the caps on what we could say about that. The conversation completely changed. People could say what was real. You were not allowed to say that men cannot become women when Jack Dorsey had it, when the previous ownership had it. And once you say the truth, people know it in their bones. It's liberating. He completely changed the national conversation on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the average person probably doesn't think much about these ideas, and they're just kind of looking around for a sense of what is acceptable to say in society. And they maybe have this opinion themselves, but they're not going to share it if it seems artificially like everybody agrees that boys should be fighting girls in combat sports or something. They're like, man, that sounds crazy, but I'm not going to get involved.
People all over the internet are talking about this. Absolutely crazy. But again, these bad hacking big ball people. You know what's crazy? Sky News. Rita Panaki. Lefties losing it over Elon Musk. Hey, everybody's talking about it. Like I said, that bad Elon Musk right now, he's up to no good. Have a listen. Sky News Australia. They are awesome.
Now it's time for Lefties Losing It. You know, we are blessed to have networks like MSNBC staffed by certifiable morons and pathological liars because they make my job just so easy. I just have to watch a few minutes and the Lefties Losing It content flows like the Mississippi in spring. Here is Joy Reid being a hysterical banshee and using words she doesn't seem to understand, like coup.
We begin tonight with a full-on crisis in our democracy, as federal workers are literally locked out of their offices while operatives working for a private citizen essentially take over our government. If this were happening in any other country right now, I promise you, I'd be on the air calling it a coup.
And Joy Reid, along with suffering from a severe case of stage 4 TDS, that's Trump derangement syndrome, she's also an election denier. And according to the left, that makes her a threat to democracy.
They're even talking about like stealing an election. And it's making me rethink whether I do believe like election machines can be hacked. Because I've always been like, you can't hack the election machines, but they're like convincing me, I don't know, maybe you can. I don't know.
I mean, to me, in this world, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
There are all these conspiracy theories out there about Trump and whether or not they cheated. I know you say that they didn't, but I know you kind of have
Wait a minute. I didn't say they didn't.
I don't know about you, but I'm shaking with fear with this dangerous democracy denial.
Elon Musk, you know, somehow using his tech connections, because I don't want to say genius because we know he's not.
Yeah, he ain't a genius.
But those relationships or whatever, because they just seem too confident. It just doesn't add up to me with all the support that she had. And I know that for you, and because of what happened with Fox and because what you do professionally with the network, you can't say it was the machines or something like that. But if you think it was the machines, but you can't say, just don't say anything. See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is there are many ways to cheat in an election. And I don't ever put it past Republicans to cheat in elections because they've been busted too many times.
Let's hear now from a couple of women who are likely to be MSNBC viewers. Why do I say that? Because they are uninformed, unhappy, and a little unhinged.
I took my kids to school today and just dropped them off, and I just feel so sad, right? Like, we all knew this was coming, and then I think that yesterday was far worse than any of us could have anticipated. And I took the day off to just kind of protect my peace, and I plugged back in this morning, and it's just so bad.
And here is a lady who is very forthright in her opinions, except when faced with a fairly obvious but inconvenient question.
Stop abuse of power.
Yes.
In what regard?
Well, with everything that's happening in our politics, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Like with Trump?
Yes. It seems that money goes a long way right now with our politicians, and that needs to stop.
So would you say it was an abuse of power how they just removed Joe Biden out the Democratic primary and installed Kamala Harris?
You know, I don't know that I can comment on it.
Now let's go to CNN, where even their overwhelmingly left-leaning panel and hosts are left laughing at just how crazy the Democrats sound this week.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
We have days to stop the destruction of our democracy. We have work to do. Tell Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
And God damn it, shut down the Senate. We are at war.
We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest.
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
they need the Democrats need a real leader. Okay, they need a real leader, which currently does not exist in the Democratic Party. Trump has said all of these things were going to happen. We saw him align with Elon Musk, which may go down as the smartest thing that any presidential candidate has ever done.
Now to possibly the most irritating woman you'll hear from all week, and that includes the ladies of The View and MSNBC's nightly lineup. This is the definition of educated but dumb, privileged but pitiful.
Ways that Middlebury fails its students make this sobering truth abundantly clear. This is heartbreaking. If there's anything you hear of what I'm saying, let it be this. When our hearts break, let them break open like pomegranates and burst with seeds that can take root. We are literally graduating the same month a fascist has taken office. Within 11 days, he has pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement for the second time, denied the existence of trans people, and unleashed a slew of ICE agents to arrest an average of 1,000 people every single day since they began.
Yes, don't you just love the way she talks? It's so effective. That poor simpleton is wearing both a keffiyeh and a rainbow scarf. May I suggest not trying that sort of thing in Gaza, lest you be thrown off whatever tall structure remains. Now, this privileged nincompoop mentioned her college, Middlebury. This is a college that charges tuition of more than $67,000 per annum US, and the housing and meal plan costs another $19,000 plus. So almost $90,000 US per annum to produce hysterical idiots like this.
Such as the airstrike on the Al-Shifa ambulance and the flour massacre, where Gazans ran to aid trucks so they could make bread, and Israeli soldiers gunned them down. And most importantly, smiling from ear to ear with a bunch of kids at the beauty of the sun setting over the horizon of their displacement camp. I have immense resources at this school, and I use them.
That lady at the end, yeah, she definitely has something going on. Wow, TDS and everything. She's paying a lot for that education that not going to get her very far. Moving along, the Cartier family. They continue with this. Elon, Trump, they're taking over. Have a listen.
That the committee subpoena Elon Musk to come before it as a witness at the earliest possible moment.
There's been a motion and second. The motion is not debatable.
I think it's outrageous that this committee will not even entertain a motion.
No, you state your...
Chairman, that's not a point of order.
Somebody who's breaking the law and dismantling our federal agents.
My job is to look out and make sure that we don't have any kings or queens in this country, but it seems like y'all have decided that it's going to be Mr. King and his queen, and y'all can pick which one is which.
Nobody in the United States feels like anybody could give them a full accounting of where all this money goes. We're $30-something trillion in debt. We spend more money than we bring in. This has been going on and on for years. Both parties say they're going to do something about it, and then we meet about it, and we have committees, and we fight about it, and we have elections, and no one ever does anything. And then Trump shows up and unleashes Elon Musk on the federal government. And finally, people are like, well, maybe if we break a few eggs, we might turn up a few omelets here. And I just think the politics of this are going to give them a lot of leash in Washington, because they're going to end up turning over things that everyone's going to agree, oh, yeah, that was really stupid.
But Elon Musk also does. Yes, so this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online, so that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge, and we looked into his background. And so we found, several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
Look at Big Balls. Have you ever seen a more Joffrey-looking mother in your life? He looks like if Jimmy Neutron joined the Hitler Youth. This guy looks looks like if the phrase, "Do you know who my father is?" gained sentience. According to Wired, some government employees said that Crown Prince Big Balls has appeared on calls where workers were made to go over code they had written and justify their jobs. Imagine working decades in public service, distributing humanitarian aid, and then having to defend your job to a kid who just discovered the show Family Guy, probably.
She is not funny.
Like,
That's why they say
he's like,
women
we need
are
to
not
fire
funny.
these people. They are so not giggity.
We should have an oversight committee to look at these things. And that was the clip that we played was the oversight committee. And, Republicans voted it down, this review of Elon Musk, 20-19. My problem is not the review, but who is in office, this unelected billionaire, and what the heck is he doing? Like, we have no transparency, not necessarily about the actions that are being made, but about who is making the decisions and why he's making those decisions. And I would caution everybody, please, again, read Project 2025, because Trump claims that he didn't read it, right? That he didn't read it. He doesn't know anything about it. 36 of the acts that he has done in these very, very long, almost 3 weeks, come from Project 2025. Yep. And the other thing that I want to note, the final thing is Russell Vought, who is the architect of Project 2025, is now up to be the Director of Management and Budget. He said, yes. Somebody looks very shocked in the audience. That's the OMB office. When I was a federal prosecutor, that's a very important office. And the interesting thing about it is he says in Project 2025 that his goal is to slash federal funds and put civil servants in trauma. Sir, civil servants are serving their country. You do it not for the money, because you don't make any money. You do it to serve and help.
I want people to learn this word if they haven't heard it before. Kakistocracy, okay? With a K. Kakistocracy, not kakistocracy, kakistocracy. It is a government run by the worst, least qualified, or most unscrupulous citizens. And I feel it is exactly what we are living through right now. To your point, it's only been 2.5 weeks. God help us. We have to go through 4 years of this, which is why we need to set up some guardrails by making sure that there is a Democratic House or Senate in 2 years, because it is the only way that there will be any guardrails against what Donald Trump and Elon Musk is doing. I'm very worried about the conflicts of interest with Elon Musk that nobody seems to care about. This is a man who himself, his companies have gotten billions of dollars.
All the Dems loved Elon Musk.
But you know
when he
what's
was
crazy?
saving the planet with his Teslas. Y'all was getting mad at people for driving regular cars.
You know what's crazy? Nobody ever bring up what they was spending on. Everybody just calling about he's a part of this, but why nobody brings up what he exposed? Why nobody's mad about they're sending money to random countries and random people for dumb reasons?
And they just not crying. Like, we knew he was the head of Doge, and this is what Doge's job was. So we're sorry that y'all are just now realizing that he was going to actually do his job.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying, all the complaining, especially from like people that are the reason why Dems lost. Like, you guys don't understand that this playbook that you're still trying to play is the reason why all these things you're complaining about has happened. They talking about in 2 years. I don't know if the American people are going to keep voting for Democrats if they keep getting exposed.
They're definitely not.
Like the Democratic Party right now, polls are saying that it's the most unpopular it's been in almost 20 years.
Yeah, they never talk about that.
And the number is steadily declining. They don't talk about all these issues they're complaining about. Most Americans, polls are saying they're in favor of. And that's what they were talking about earlier on the video. Democrats keep choosing the 20% rather than the 80% and looking at what the American people want. They keep choosing the wrong hill to die on, and that's why they're losing, and that's why they're in this position.
I recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. Good afternoon. Late last year, the White Coat Waste Project exposed more than $10 million in taxpayer funds that were spent creating transgender mice, rats, and monkeys. These DEI grants funded painful and deadly transgender experiments that forced lab animals to undergo invasive surgeries and hormone therapies at universities across the country. For example, the Biden-Harris administration spent $2.5 million taxpayer dollars to study the fertility of transgender mice. Federal funds were also used to forcibly transition male monkeys to see if hormone therapy made them more susceptible to HIV.
New reporting reveals that USAID and a CIA analyst were behind a project that later led to one of Trump's impeachments. Independent journalist Michael Schellenberger joins us to try to convince me that I should believe this. Shelley, always a pleasure. Good to see you, Mike.
Great to see you, Chris.
So, sell me on it. How much do you believe this?
Well, look, here's what we know. We know that USAID effectively created this organization called the Organized Crime and Corruption Research Project, Reporting Project, OCCRP, which nobody's heard of, but it teams up with well-known news media companies around the world. We know that it would not exist had it not rerouted a State Department grant from its narcotics enforcement division through USAID, and that USAID can sign off on all of the senior, has to sign off, has a requirement to sign off on all the senior staff and on the work plan. We also know that it did the foundational research that was essential to bringing the impeachment case against Trump in December of 2019. It was what the CIA whistleblower relied upon in his initial complaint in December in December of 2019. So those are the facts of it.
Wait, explain that part.
Explain
that part, Michael. Explain what they funded and how it's connected to what the CIA agent and who that was, what we know, because I thought it was the original guy was the British guy that was hired by the Oppo research place that Clinton had been working with, and he was collecting it from his sources. What are you believing now?
Yeah, I mean, this is the case of you remember, this is where Trump talks about the perfect phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky.
So this is his second impeachment.
Impeachment, yeah, of 2019. So this is basically a situation where the CIA person in the White House who'd been left over by Obama writes a complaint describing alleged violation of the law. This was then picked up and the House impeached Trump. The Senate, of course, declined to hear it. But I think what's so interesting here is that this is an organization that's behind it, that's funded by USAID, that would not exist without USAID, engaging in what I think you have to consider to be domestic politics, which is absolutely forbidden. You have to remember that our intelligence agencies, our foreign policy establishment, of which USAID is a big part, it's not really an economic development agency. I think people misunderstand that part. It's really about soft power. It's about establishing the power of the United States in like an aggressive way, including in regime change. The head of this group, OCCRP, actually brags of helping to change the governments in 4 or 5 different countries, actually brags of the regime change. So this looks like regime change tactics that the CIA and USAID had done abroad being brought back home against Donald Trump.
The CIA has been plotting on Trump.
Yeah, this gets deep. That's why everyone's, all these Democrats are freaking out because they're about to get exposed. All this government corruption is getting exposed.
That money.
The money, the corruption, the political game they've been playing is being exposed.
You want to hear something crazy? Gavin Newsom is still not letting people build their homes back.
I saw somewhere where they said that the homes that were burnt down are going to be claimed by California and rebuilt.
Yeah, for low housing.
Yeah, low income housing.
For immigrants.
That's bullshit.
For illegal immigrants.
Is that wait, it was illegal immigrants?
They said for low income housing for illegal immigrants.
That's bullshit.
That's why I see. But I feel like, a little bit, I thought that was propaganda a tad bit,
Oh, yeah, wouldn't that be?
I need to see some news on that because that's completely BS.
That got to be like unethical.
That's true.
Widespread concern about the Doge team's access to sensitive payment systems. Are you worried at all that access and that tinkering of the payment systems could affect the treasuries market or cause any disruption?
Good. Well, Saleha, thank you for asking me about that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. First of all, when you say the Doge team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. So we make 1.3 billion payments a year. And this is 2 employees who are working with a group of longstanding employees.
The letter that the Treasury Department sent earlier this week talked about how the team currently does not have access to change the system. Have they at any point this year had the ability to make changes?
Absolutely not. This is no different than you would have at a private company. And by the way, the ability to change the system sits over at the Federal Reserve. So it doesn't even lie in this building. So they could make suggestions on how to change the system, but we don't even run the system.
And if they ask for, if they request the ability to change the system, would you grant that?
No, again, they have no ability to change the system. I have no ability to grant that change. That they can make suggestions, then it would go to the Federal Reserve, and just like any large ERP system, there would be tests, there would be this, there would be that, and then the Fed will determine whether these changes are robust or not.
As the Secretary of Treasury, you also oversee the IRS. Do you know what kind of access the team has to IRS data or individual taxpayer data?
Well, I'm glad you asked that too, because look, the IRS, the privacy issue is one of the biggest issues. And over the past 4 years, we've seen a lot of leaks out of there. The IRS systems are quite poor. When I started in college in 1980, I learned the program in COBOL. I think there are 12 different systems at the IRS that still run on COBOL, but as of now, there is no engagement at the IRS.
And if they request that access, would you sign off on that request?
They haven't, so we'll take that when it comes to it. I think there is a lot to do there, but the president was elected with a big agenda, and to the extent that getting the IRS in better shape is part of that, sure. Because look, with the IRS, what am I concerned about? I am concerned about collections. I'm concerned about privacy, and I'm concerned that the system is robust and customer service.
But do you think that if they ask for access, that is something you would consider signing off on?
There are a lot of things I would consider, but look, we're in the middle of the tax filing season right now. We even, with the government buyouts that expire at midnight tonight, we have mandated that the IRS customer-facing employees, that they're not eligible for that until May 15th. So I don't imagine anything's going to go on at the IRS until then or beyond.
Elon Musk just half an hour ago tweeted out that Treasury needs to stop approving certain payments. Has your staff tried to block any payments here at Treasury?
We have not, and I'm glad you asked that too. And just to put in perspective, Elon and I are completely aligned in terms of cutting waste and increasing accountability and transparency for the American people. I believe that this DOGE program in my adult life is one of the most important audits of government or changes to government structure we have seen.
Wow.
That when I was
Treasury, the U.S.
in my 20s, we had the Grace Report, and there's some great suggestions that came out of that, never implemented. Under Clinton and Gore, I think it was to government efficiency or reduce government. Nothing happened. So President Trump came in, there's a big agenda, and I think that there are gigantic cost savings for the American people here. And I think it's unfortunate the way the media wants to lampoon what is going on. These are highly trained professionals. This is not some roving band going around doing things. This is methodical, and it is going to yield big savings.
A goddamn liberal got to say out their mouth, bro.
That was straight from the horse's mouth right there.
He said, this is great. He said, we're completely aligned.
There's a process to the changes. Elon isn't just pressing buttons and making changes like the View is going to tell you. There's a whole process. It's got to go through the whole Treasury. It's not just easy to make a change. And they're helping. They're just making it more efficient and more accountable and more transparent for the American people. Who is against those things?
Yeah. And he said they just right now they're just reviewing and making suggestions, taking notes and making suggestions.
What's wrong with that?
That's what I'm saying.
What's wrong with a little suggestion?
He said this is this is the most important thing he's seen in his lifetime. He's like an older guy. He probably seen a lot in his lifetime.
Yeah,
You know what's
media
crazy?
propaganda, man.
To see Democrats was more hot, and he's so calm about that. He's actually working inside the building.
He's the
head
secretary.
man.
That let you know a lot about
I
these
saw
people.
Let you know a lot,
once
bro.
those
He's
came
talking.
to the Treasury, the head Treasury guy quit. So he knows some bullshit going on.
I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. Every time I hear a Democrat speak or talk or make a headline, y'all are lying. Y'all are the biggest liars
It's
in the
the
fucking
media, bro.
nation, bro.
The
They're trying to
Democrat
manipulate
media is
they're trying to
crazy.
manipulate the public perception of things for their narrative.
For their agenda, man. Just so they.
I ain't gonna lie.
I don't understand what's their agenda now. Like, it's not an election for a while. Trump's not winning again.
Well,
So
you got
why
2
are y'all
years,
still
bro.
hating?
You got 2 years
Yeah.
for the House.
But I'm still saying, like, at least they're so hating on Trump so bad, like he's going to run it for a third term.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think this is good. I think this is what we need in America. This is what we need for our future to make America better.
Yeah.
And we need to know where our money's going. So I think I think any
Why wouldn't you wanna
American
see where your
taxpayer
money's
should
going?
be in favor of this, to know where your tax dollars are going,
I don't see why.
and to have the most efficient government in the most powerful nation in the world. That's just what it is.
I don't see what's wrong with that. I just logically just don't see why are people real life against this.
Because
Like,
Trump's doing it. That's why.
It's nothing wrong with him doing. If he's trying to make our country better,
Hey, bro.
And
There's
it's
no
just-
reason to try to explain it. We get it.
And then, you know what pissed me off more? I be seeing people saying the eggs and the everything prices are still high, but
They
like,
killed 100
this
million
is,
chickens.
It's been
This is
20
kind of
days.
help with that kind of. So
It's been
people
20
still
days.
high.
He inherited the worst economy in history.
It's because of Trump, y'all.
Whenever you get a chance, please check out the Cartier family on YouTube. These are awesome young men. They have good common sense, and there's hope for this country. Moving along, because you got so much to go for. Oh, my goodness. The Rubin Report. Let's check out what Mr. Dave Rubin has to say about this mess. Have a listen.
There are bureaucrats and politicians who have been involved in government for decades and decades. You could look at, say, Biden, involved in public life for 50 years. Chuck Schumer, who's been senator out of New York for 2 decades. And then the bureaucratic class that never leaves D.C. They're all kind of in on it together. As long as you're always taking money from the people, putting it into these programs, you keep the wheels greased and everything keeps moving. Here's Chuck Schumer.
If DOGE attacks USAID today, then you can be sure they'll move on to another target tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the Postal Service or the IRS or even the Social Security Administration. They could be next. Or maybe our National Security Agency.
Oh, no. Guys, not the IRS. Oh, God, that would be crazy. We had a little fun with that video. Enjoy.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be the Postal Service or the IRS or even the Social Security Administration. They could be next. Or maybe our National Security Agency.
Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
I wanted to do the 50-second full orgasm scene, but I was overridden by the team. Every now and again, I let them outvote me there. But like, oh my God, the IRS is going to go out. Are you threatening me with a good time? What is wrong with you people? Schumer continued on the Twitter. An unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. DOGE is not a real government agency. DOGE has no authority to make spending decisions. DOGE has no authority to shut programs down or to ignore federal law. DOGE's conduct cannot be allowed to stand. Congress must act to restore the rule of law. Connor, leave that up for a moment, because do you guys understand what's going on here? The people who have done everything on the DL, I don't know, like maybe cooing a president and installing a lady that nobody voted for in a primary process and everything else. The people who have funded all of this money to go all over the world to do completely ridiculous things, like transsexual comic books in Peru, no offense. Those are the people that suddenly, as we're just opening up the books, all they're doing at DOGE right now, they're sending the DOGE people in, they're going into the USAID offices. All right, you can come back to me. They're going to the USAID offices and they're just looking around. They're like, so who did spend all this money on what now? And can we see some receipts on some of this stuff? And who directed you to this? And everyone is freaking out, because do you know where it will all be pointed back to? Not that the Republicans are so great, they're getting better, but most of it's going to be pointed back to the Democrat Party because they have pushed all of this drivelous lunacy and endless spending. Here is Elon Musk, who apparently Chuck Schumer doesn't like very much. Hysterical reactions like this is how you know that Doge is doing the work that really matters. This is the one shot that the American people have to defeat bureaucracy, rule of the bureaucrats, and restore democracy, rule of the people. We're never going to get another chance like this. It's now or never. Your support is crucial to the success of the revolution of the people. And that is it, guys. This is the chance. All of the stuff that we've all have thought is so wrong. It's all just felt wrong. And the nonsense we've been pushed, all the woke nonsense that's been pushed on us, but the endless spending, how none of it has made sense for so long. And we're always swimming upstream, right? Like there's this endless deluge of nonsense and we're always swimming upstream trying to make sense of it. Right now, it's being drained out of the system. All they're doing, there's nothing illegal that they're doing. They're trying to figure out who's in charge. How is it that we do this? How is it?
Dave Rubin, another person you should check out. The Rubin Report. Good information. I stumbled across another guy, LFR Jojo. Another person that, my goodness, we do have a couple of us have some conservative values and some good common sense. LFR Jojo. This is more about illegal immigration in New York City, and we have a guy on the ground talking to various people. Kind of give you an idea, but a litmus test of what's really going on in New York City with this migrant invasion. Have a listen.
Hey, open borders. If you want to come over, come over.
It shouldn't be open borders. There always should be a process of coming over to be legalized, like illegal.
It is a process. There is a process.
How does it make you feel seeing people coming into the country illegally that are getting free healthcare, free rent, sometimes free debit cards?
It doesn't make me feel good.
Okay, so America can't afford it because he talking about some.
Talk to some migrants at the hotel, and then maybe at the end, I'll give people my opinion. Save best for last, yeah? Mass deportations are underway. I want to know, do you support it after that last 4 years, or do you not support it?
I do not support mass deportations. I'm not a fan of it.
Not a fan of it. Why not?
Well, it depends. There's people who are just trying to make a better life for themselves. They're keeping their head down, just doing what they need to do. My parents were immigrants. They came down here. They got westernized like everyone else. It's not like they were trying to...
Your parents came into the country illegally?
No.
I'm not in favor.
Not in favor. Why not?
I love these type of videos because it shows to me that majority of people don't really know what they're talking about. They don't. So if you're watching this video, congratulations. You're actually taking a step further to learn more about politics because I am too. Usually people who watch these type of videos know a lot of information and they teach me a lot. But people on the street just don't know why they don't support what they don't support. And I'm happy he went to New York to talk about illegal immigration because New York is extremely liberal. And I want to know the liberal perspective on illegal immigration. I really, really do. Maybe I can learn some things, but we'll see. My name is LFR Jojo. Let's continue.
It should be done humanely.
So you're kind of in favor?
Well, no. I think we really should be following the rule of the law.
So would you like to weigh in?
What outfit are you with?
Not with an outfit. YouTube.
Okay, but what political bent are you?
Oh, I'm more conservative.
No thanks.
Your message to Donald Trump.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do you stand on this? Do you support the idea of mass deportations? Do you think the country needs it right now?
I don't. And I think it's misguided. I think it's bluster. I think, I also think when you look at the irony is that, they're saying that all these people are freeloaders and this and that. Most of the raids are occurring at places of work. How can you be a freeloader and be gainfully employed? I think, I think this country has other priorities, other problems that are more urgent. And, I think it's an easy one if you're Donald Trump to try to say that you're making good on a campaign promise because a lot of the other things he said he was going to do, he probably can't do, nor did he have any intention of really doing. and this is probably an easy one for him.
He shouldn't be deporting people just because of coming over here from illegal countries. So I just feel it shouldn't be. It's a bad thing.
So you think maybe, okay, get rid of legal immigration and perhaps just, hey, open borders. If you want to come over, come over?
It shouldn't be open borders. There always should be a process of coming over to be legalized, like illegal.
It is a process. There is a process. There is a process. It has always been a process. In modern history, oh my gosh, there has been a process. I swear. Do people not understand? Illegal immigration are for people who didn't follow the process. Jesus Christ.
But no penalties for coming over illegally.
That's harsh. That's a hard one.
You, sir, why do you guys not support deporting people that are in the country illegally?
Well, I think we support people. I think that many people who are here illegally are here because they're, coming from countries where there's a lot of crime and a lot of violence, and so they're here for a reason, and so also this is America, so we should be welcoming immigrants.
You guys, this is Roosevelt Hotel. This is one of the main hotels in New York City that's housing migrants. You can see they're sitting outside waiting to get in right now. Maybe school just ended or something, but we're going to be talking to some people. You're staying at the hotel?
¿Estás hospedando aquí en el hotel? No, yo estoy hospedada en otro hotel. Me pasaron de un hotel a otro, un Chester que tiene cocina. Pero mientras que yo recibía un programa que ellos están dando de $4,000.
Sí, en la acá.
Program for $4,000. Dang. Wow. That's a lot of money. I hope it was like is it $4,000 a month? $4,000 a week? What are we talking about here? Let's continue.
How has the stay been, and how long have you been in New York City?
Nosotros tenemos 6 meses aquí. Bueno, la estadía del hotel, para qué decir, nos han ayudado bastante. Con la comida, con la estadía, más que todos los que tenemos familia. Y a la expectativa de ver qué es lo que pasa con lo que ha puesto el presidente Trump.
Un contrato de alquiler y ellos le dan los $4,000 a uno para uno mudarse. O sea, como sustentar un alquiler para después ya uno buscar salir adelante.
Do you mind if I ask you, when did you come into the U.S. and what country did you come from?
Yo soy de Venezuela, ya voy para 3 años aquí.
As for meals, all that, what have they provided you, and you felt very comfortable here?
Bueno, con la comida sí, para que no tengo quejas, le podría decir que es una comida normal que nos dan. Con lo que más pueden nos ayudan. Y nosotros agradecidos para que con esta ayuda que nos están dando, por más que todo por nuestros hijos que tenemos aquí.
Sí, gracias a Dios. Sí.
No nos podemos quejar de eso. La atención es muy buena, te asesoran bien.
They have really good lives, man. They are really good lives, man. I'm not gonna lie. They said they were staying at the Roosevelt. They was getting $4,000 a month. The food was good. Dang. Wow. That's actually pretty impressive. I love the fact that America has the money to do that. I really do. Or do we have the money to do that? But let me know what you all think about that. Wow. They was living it up.
La comida es buena.
Should people be following the rules? Is that what it is?
Yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? When my family got here, we followed the rules. Everybody had to pay to make sure you get your paperwork done. You just don't walk up in here the way, and then everybody paying, for welfare and stuff, my taxes, everybody's taxes. I'm not rich, I'm poor. I work 2 jobs, and my taxes got to pay all of that. And I can't even get welfare or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
So you're working 2 jobs. How does it make you feel seeing people coming into the country illegally that are getting free health care, free rent, sometimes free debit cards?
It doesn't make me feel good.
Question.
Okay, so America can't afford it because he talking about he working 2 jobs in the same city that he's asking people, and they're staying at the Roosevelt. They getting $4,000 a month. They getting free food. So this is happening in the same city. This is not across the country. He's going to a block away asking people, and half of them are staying in Roosevelt hotels for 3 years at a time. And he's saying he's been working 2 jobs. This is why Americans have a problem. I see. I don't even have to give my opinion. Americans have a problem. Shown right here in the video.
Cost is an argument in favor of cracking down on that, or does money not matter in your view?
It's about who's paying that money.
Taxpayers.
Exactly. And that's, for me, it's an unfortunate bottom line.
Could that money be used elsewhere in your view, or do you think that's, well-used money?
I always feel like, for me, and this is maybe painting with broad strokes, I don't think that's an easy question to answer, but I feel like it's like the welfare question as well. I think along the same lines. They say there are 8 out of 10 families use welfare the right way, and then there are 2 people that abuse the system, 2 families that abuse the system. I'd rather worry about the people who use it the right way, and there's always going to be a fudge factor, here or there.
If there's limited resources in the community, do you think that those community members are making a good argument of saying we don't want people that just cut the line to come into the community when our people here are already struggling? Are they making a good point or no?
There aren't limited resources. It's just we have to try to get them and work, and there's gatekeeping happening. So we have to just work together instead of being separated, instead of just deporting and kicking people out, or just we got to work together. That's all.
Why do you say that they're not limited resources?
Because there's enough resources. I worked with the different communities, so it's like in my community, they limit the access to resources. They don't just limit resources. They're there. They just got to get to them, and they limit the knowledge to get to it.
People come here because they know America is a better place from where they came from, and people are willing to work hard to do the work. And I think there's a lot of people who don't want them to be here, who are not willing to do the work that they do.
So your support on this is perhaps tiered. You have no problem with ICE doing raids last night, but maybe you would have a problem with them.
If it's like they state and they say it's known criminals that came here, committed crimes, I don't think those are people that are here to build themselves up and actually would hide on the backs of people who are just trying to do what they want to do.
So people that came into the country and committed crimes, it's a crime to come in illegally, but you're saying
I know it's a crime. Yes.
Yeah, but you're saying
while
people that
they're
committed
here,
crimes
they committed
when they're
assaults and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm not I think we need to have a little bit of nuance.
So you support deporting those people for sure, no doubt.
Those people, yeah, but I do worry about people releasing them into neighborhoods where good, hardworking people are, and then now they have to go look for them. And if other people are discovered that are undocumented along with these criminals, they're now going to be taken part and parcel with them as well.
How are you feeling about gang members coming across the border? We don't know who they are.
We got gang members in New York right now.
Right. So we
what we talking
don't deport them?
I just feel don't deport. As far as anybody, it should be, you shouldn't deport anybody that's here. Just let's work it out. Let's figure out a way that everybody's America.
Obviously.
So he's saying figure out a way for everyone to stay, everyone to be happy, everyone to be healthy. That's what he's saying. Where other Americans saying that he shouldn't have to work 2 jobs while there are people here who do not pay taxes. Because if you're an illegal immigrant, you don't pay taxes. Let's be honest, you don't have a Social Security. There's no IRS coming after you. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, because these are 2 very opposing beliefs in the same exact city. This kind of outlines the polarity in voting, why everyone's so polar today. One person believes so strongly, no, we need to find a solution. They shouldn't be deported. Another person believes very strongly, nah, if I had to work 2 jobs, there should be no assistance for any illegal immigrant. Very, very polar opposites. Let's continue.
Obviously, Donald Trump won the election, and we wanted to know how people are feeling around here about that.
Sí, hay mucha duda que venga los Chester y entren a la ICE a pedir. Bueno, yo digo que los que más tienen que tener miedo son los que tienen récord, tienen estatus inmigratorio, que han robado, que han hecho cosas malas.
Un poco preocupado porque nosotros somos conscientes de que las leyes hay que cumplirlas y que está bien que saquen a todos los criminales y a todos los que vienen a hacer daño a este país, pero hay muchas personas que vienen a trabajar, a sacar a su familia adelante, a sus hijos, y más que todo que salimos de un país donde está muy peligroso. Nuestras vidas corrían peligro y buscamos un mejor para nuestros hijos, y Queremos que él reflexione un poquito y que nos pueda ayudar a los que sí hemos venido a trabajar y a salir adelante.
The majority of Americans do support mass deportations. If you look at the polling, it's about 55% to 60%. But it's even higher when it comes to deporting people that are committing crimes in the country. Do you guys support deporting illegal immigrants that have committed crimes in the United States, or no?
I think I support that fundamentally. However, I don't think it's the solution. There might need to be an interim step there. So, you push people back, people keep coming forward. Is that the right solution?
In your view, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, what do you think the solution is right there when it comes to people that are in the country illegally that are committing crimes, robbery, whatever it may be? What do you think the solution is?
Yeah, I don't know if I have that solution, but I'd say if you were to detain people and then to work with the foreign governments perhaps on some sort of solution together, I just think in the direction that we're going now, we want to fly people back in a massive way, and Mexico is not even accepting the flight, right? So we don't have any diplomacy happening at this point. It's just the pushing and pulling of people, which I just don't believe works.
Why do you think that Mexico doesn't want those people back?
Oh, I don't think that...
That's a good question. I never even thought about that question. Is that actually true, though? Before we even answer it, is what he said a true question? Because, yes, a question can be false.
They like Trump's tactics. I don't feel like they feel that he's being just. I think they know that people are being scooped up and shoved around, and they have to prove themselves before they're put on a bus.
If they are truly people that should be deported because we're breaking the law, doing things, fine. Other than that, no.
Do you consider entering the country illegally breaking the law?
Hard question, but in some ways, yes, I do. Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. You're more of saying, hey, if they do not qualify for, let's say, asylum in a legit way, gotta go.
Yes.
You got to get rid of all the illegals in this city. There's entirely too many of them. The ones that are committing crimes are obviously not good. You look at this hotel. It's a 4-star hotel. They were all staying here. You have the Tren de Aragua staying here, which is the Venezuelan gang. Me personally, I don't take the subway because of all the crime. I walk no matter the weather. So, yeah, I'm all for the deportations. I think what ICE is doing is actually a good thing. It's going to clean this place up and every other city in the country.
All right, guys.
That is crazy. Do you know how much a 4-star hotel in New York City costs? Think about it. America is the richest country. New York City is the richest city in the richest country. And I'm talking about a 4-star hotel. We don't got that many stars to give out. We only go up to 5 stars.
Thank you, LFR Jojo, for that report. Really makes you wonder what's really been going on. Us poor citizens compared to illegal migrants coming into this country and giving everything that we pay for, ultimately. Wow. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening. I know it was a long one. Again, crazy Super Bowl, crazy year so far. President Trump is going absolutely full steam ahead with changes throughout the entire government. It's going to be interesting. He hasn't even been in office 30 days yet. 3.5 weeks, basically, going on his 4th. So with that, I want to thank you for coming down the rabbit hole with us. We love you. We'll see you soon. Take care, and God bless. And well, keep looking for that elusive truth. It's fast and furious these days. Take care. Bye-bye.
E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
Idiots.